Namaskaram, SriSathya Namaha. My name is Roopa Prabhkrishnan and I am the Artistic Director of EH-WAM Academy of Arts in Dubai. It was an involuntary act of going to a dance class which became a want for me. Something that I have been craving to do and I will never miss through my weekends. That is how I ended up learning this art form. And making this as a career, what better thing to have one's own passion as a career? That's exactly what happened with me as well. Apart from doing my education, my normal stream of education, my master's, I did not leave this art form aside. Maybe took a sabbatical, but never thought one moment to take it back as my career. And hence, here today, apart from my routine work, I do take this art form. On weekends, I both learn intricate works, especially into the nuances of abhinayas, more into the nuances of thalams, more into the nuances of the nattuangam, nuances of teaching as well. Plus, I also teach to a whole bunch of students, interested students I should say. What more does a teacher want or a performer want than this? That's how this art form ended up as a career for me as well. What defines a career is the passion. If there is no passion in a profession, it's just a job, a mundane job. நித்தம் போறோம் வேலை பண்றோம் வரோம் அவ்வளவுதான். அதுக்கு மேல beyond that, what drives a career, a want, a craving, an interest to excel from one's own capability to another level and an alter level is only the passion. How to make this passion a career? அப்படின்னு கேட்டா simple. முதல்ல just get into that, plunge, dive into it. With whatever little knowledge we have of that art form or any art form for the matter of fact, get into it. Adikaprama, how to add nuances. Learning never stops. It is not just with this much of a learning one can excel in any particular art form or even in a career. படிச்சுட்டே இருக்கணும், போக 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 நிறைய விஷயங்கள் கத்துட்டே வரணும். That is exactly what turns a passion into a beautiful career, and that's how all the artists have thrived as well.
Now, how to convert passion to career? I think you should find out what are the ways you can have paths inside that career. Even if it is your passion, you cannot just sit and say that, oh, I love to do that and I can just sit at one place and things will just happen. So you need to struggle, you need to work hard, you need to dive deep into your passion, you need to explore as much as possible, and yes, the career automatically happens, because one best thing is that it's your passion. You will never regret doing or going as much as you have to. So you will not get bored of what you're doing because it's been your passion. And I think to take your passion as your career is one of the best thing to do. Channelize in a proper way is what is difficult. Bharatanatyam in my community, I being raised in Mumbai since many years. I've born in border of Karnataka and Kerala, but I've been raised in Mumbai. As I told, I've been so busy with my dancing always. I think my people around my community always thought they had already decided that I'm going to be a dancer or an artist in my life. So I never got any hitches or obstacles from my community side. So I was always encouraged by people whom I met, or maybe I was destined to meet such people at right time, right people, right place, so that I could do what I always love to do. And I think even if this negativity in between your journey of continuing your profession comes in, you will never feel the beauty of hard work. And when you look back, you will not feel, oh, I have done something for reaching till here. So I think little bit hitches and obstacles are necessary.
So just a quick background on what I used to do. I started learning dance or Bharatanatyam at the age of 7 when I was in Dubai, and I continued to learn Bharatanatyam in Dubai till 2013. I moved to Bangalore for my undergrad, which I did in finance at Christ University. And post that, I worked at an audit firm called KPMG as a full-time auditor. I did that for about 2 years. But throughout all of this, the one thing that's been constant in my life has been dance. I remember through school, through high school, and even undergrad, the days that I was out of class because of dance practice, competitions, fests were way more than the days I was in class. At KPMG, I realized that this is a great career and it's pretty stable, but I will not be able to see myself doing this in the next 20 years. So what was the point in staying at this job just for the sake of it and not doing something that I love? That is one of the main reasons I decided to choose dance as a career. So it was one fine day, I was just randomly on a Google search and this NYU course called Performing Arts Administration just popped up. And I was like, okay, this is what I think I want to do. I looked more into it, I read up more about it. And this was, all, I want to say in June or May. And all of the admissions had closed out. I just took that risk and I applied. And I spoke to the director of NYU's Performing Arts program. To my surprise, right, maybe I want to say 20 days before the course started, I got my acceptance. Definitely all of that worked out for the better, and I did my master's in performing arts administration at NYU in 2018.
I specialized in biology and psychology from Newcastle University for my undergraduate, and I did my master's in clinical applications of psychology from Kingston University. Right now, I'm practicing as a behavioral therapist, so I work with children who have special need issues and learning difficulties in the UAE, and yeah, it's been a very rewarding experience. As I was exploring what you could do with psychology as well as dance, I came across something called dance movement therapy. This was a part of my placement in my master's program. So I took it forward to my placement instructor and I just pitched the idea to him. I did a lot of research. So basically what dance and movement therapy is, it is just a non-goal oriented form of therapy for people who don't prefer talking therapy. Because oftentimes we see in media and in real life, just talking is equal to therapy, but there is a lot that goes behind therapy. A lot of people prefer not to talk, especially those who suffer from severe PTSD and depression. So there's a lot of clinical case studies that show that DMT is a really good form of therapy for these people. So to do DMT, you need a basic understanding of how the human body moves. So I can talk about dance and movement therapy as well, and somehow help people understand that there's always a connection between dance and other forms of sciences even. As Bharatanatyam dancers, we are blessed to have years of training behind understanding and learning how our bodies work. Especially non-verbal communication is a core aspect of DMT, dance movement therapy, where you express how you feel through very simple movements. For example, you can draw a parallel between mudras that we use in our dance. We try to express what the musician says in the songs through mudras, and that is basically non-verbal communication with the audience. So a similar parallel can be drawn with posture. We are very aware of our postures, and that's really good for the brainstem and for our spinal cord as well. All in all, it is great for overall mental health well-being. So I would definitely encourage anybody who is looking into doing something in the field of mental health as well as dance, because it's great that we have opportunities for this field right now.
terms of the opportunities that a performing arts management or administration program provides, it's very, very different from being a full-time performing artist. It also provides you a background about everything that goes behind running a performing arts organization. In the United States specifically, from my experience, the way arts organizations are run is very much like a corporate organization. So it has many departments. So departments that do marketing for the organization, departments that do fundraising, development, you have a department that does rentals. It's very, very different on how an organization is run here because it's so much larger. I have gotten into another division, which is the events and special projects division at the current firm that I'm working for. So we help them organize different concerts, festivals, all in Indian classical art forms, of course. We also do a global festival as well that has artists from all over the globe who come and perform for us. So this is another avenue that exists in this particular field.
Opportunities are many, as you can be a performing artist, you can be a teacher. If you are very well read, if you love to read, if you like to write, then there are so many opportunities in university. You can be a very well read scholar of dance who can speak for n number of lectures. You can tour the world with your scholarship. So there's a lot of scope. Depends how much time you give it to this zone of your life. Till you do not dive deep and search for that knowledge, then you can't even sustain for a longer time. So I think opportunities are definitely there and scope is ample, but all depends on how much you give yourself to that ocean called Bharatanatyam.
பரதநாட்டியமா ஒரு பார்ட் டைம் ஜாபா வச்சுக்கணுமா இல்லை ஒரு ஃபுல் டைம் ஜாபா வச்சுக்கணுமா, how are the career prospects going to be அப்படின்னு நம்ம யோசிச்சோம்னா it is a personal choice according to me. சில பேருக்கு it is a passion that they just want to spread to this world wide, இல்லையா? For them, அவளோட அலோகேட்டட் டைமை எப்படி யூஸ் பண்ணி அதை வந்து சொல்லித்தரணும் இந்த மற்ற சந்ததியினருக்கு அப்படிங்கிறது அவளுடைய பர்சனல் சாய்ஸ். சில பேருக்கு தட் இஸ் ப்ராபப்ளி த ஒன்லி பிரெட் அண்ட் பட்டர். அப்படி இருக்கிறவளுக்கு இட் இஸ் எ கெரியர் பை ஃபுல் டைம் சாய்ஸ் ஆஸ் வெல். ஸோ அது அவளோட பேண்ட் வித்தை பொறுத்தது, டிபெண்டிங் ஆன் வாட் தே ஹேவ் இன் their hand apart from this art form as learning. It is up to them to choose whether they want to do it as a part time or a full time. பட் எதுவா இருந்தாலும் ஒரு முடிவு பண்ணிட்டே அப்படின்னா தயவு செஞ்சு முழு மூச்சோட இறங்கி ஆத்மாத்மா வேலை பண்ணுங்க. Do a wholehearted work is all my recommendation is.
Performing Bharatanatyam does not give you the monthly income what you would expect for, or you will definitely need income to live your life. Teaching with early age will help you to sustain your income, and in a way you also start performing at the same time, so that down the lane you will be more perfect, and the journey will make you so sure of what you're going to perform because you're also a teacher. I think at least for me it has helped being a very early teacher. It's been 20 years I am teaching Bharatanatyam to young talents in Mumbai, and being a teacher has definitely helped me so much. I started performing much later, so when I was little bit settled in my life as a teacher, and then I started performing so much. So I think because I always started thinking and rethinking on what I should do on stage and how I should present myself, because I visualized my student in that way. It can always be part-time, but if you give it as a part-time, then the problem only happens is that your heart, mind, body, soul is not able to connect to the Natyam difficult situation at a point of time to think dance can be full-time or part-time. Also depends how people you have across around you, how much financial stability you already have, what is your present status For me, frankly, I had to also earn and fund my family. So I had to start thinking to teach first. Hence, for me, it was a different ball game. Part time or full time, all depends on that person's situation. Many other ifs and buts which comes and puts a very strong weightage to this decision in life.
The scope as a full-time events manager, I want to say, or an events associate is so large here because you have organizations that do this on such a large scale. In my experience, when I left India in 2018, this wasn't so widely done, but it's come up a lot over the past 2 years in India, in Bangalore itself, because I'm from Bangalore and I see a lot of my friends and colleagues who work in the dance fraternity do more work related to all of this and just raising awareness about different social political issues through the art form itself. And the big question that everyone has is, as a dance teacher or as a dance performer, how do you sustain? Do you make enough money? Is it financially sustainable? I would say it definitely is over here because the minimum wage, etc., are very, very high to be able to sustain a full, comfortable life. I am not very aware because I've not been a full-time artist in India. I'm not sure what the range of salaries are in India. But the arts in general is definitely not a field that will pay you $1 million a year. And that's just something that we as artists are okay with because the art form in general is our passion and it just gives us so much happiness. If you work as a performing artist in the United States, you also are eligible for a lot of government grants that artists apply to year round, and there are just so many of them. And that's another way that artists and arts organizations fund themselves through their career. Some of the other fields that you can also work or look into from that I know of from my friends are also working for the Ministry of Cultural Affairs or the Arts Council for the government bodies. So that's also another career avenue that these programs provide. I'm definitely fortunate to be able to work at an Indian performing arts organization in New York and still be able to continue to perform and pursue my love for Bharatanatyam and dance. So it's definitely been a great journey.
To be frank, dance as a career to the younger generation is very challenging. Number one, the younger generation is much smarter than in the generation what we have grown up. They get opportunities much faster than we have got. Social media is much more helpful for them. They are very much tech savvy. On the other side, the competition level is much higher for them than what we had. They have to be more grounded, and the root of Bharatanatyam or whichever dance style they are learning should not be shaky. There is a chance that the younger generation might be glued towards the little bit modern way of dancing this beautiful dance style. Keeping the tradition in mind, if they then go ahead and then they take it as career, it will be much more smoother journey and stable. Just to add up to this question, if you are a good teacher, if you know how to teach well, if you know how to care for those kids and how to create that positive ambience in your dance school, then I think you can be a successful teacher, and automatically students will glue to you to learn and to gain good knowledge from such a good teacher. That is more important rather than having a certification.
Remuneration is a very niche topic. It completely depends on the quality of the product that we are delivering as well. Now, it doesn't confine to one as just a teacher and a student, or maybe getting the income as a teacher by teaching to a couple of dancers. There is much more than that. Look at it as a performer. Look at it as a choreographer. Look at it as an event manager. Look at it as creating an opportunity to a wide, talented pool of young children. Look at it as creating a production. How many people are there ready to welcome your production? So it's a complete perception and it's a complete quality based question. However, It is not a very lean profession. It's a great profession to take, which gives a lot of satisfaction as well.
I would definitely encourage anybody who is looking into doing something in the field of mental health as well as dance, because it's great that we have opportunities for this field right now. And in order to do that, you need to have a Bachelor's of Science in Psychology from an accredited university, as well as a master's degree in dance and psychomovement therapy. After that, you can practice in any private practice as well as healthcare center. So as a dance psychotherapist.
If I have to speak about my final goal in this industry, I think it's definitely growing up the leadership ladder at a performing arts organization and understanding how it is run from a managerial level or a managerial role. All that being said, I do know that it's not everyone's cup of tea, or they're not always able to pursue a full-time career in the arts. Try to understand what your final goal is, but it does make me extremely happy to see the number of people who are transitioning from a career in finance or in the engineering field to a career in the arts.
I always like saying this, and I believe in this as well. We should remember that what we have learned is just fistful. We hone ourselves much better than what we are today. We better our best. So it is very, very important not to stop learning and keep bringing it to the society, keep giving it back to the society. That's exactly how we learn more, we spread more, and we embrace more as well.